Alright, I said I'd make a video on it, so here we go. We're gonna make a video on it. Since Sylvan is currently out now, we're going to go ahead and talk about how Sylvan is now considered sort of useful, but, like, in all honesty, I would say for the majority of players, that Sylvan is still kind of a useless character overall. Sylvan currently has had some use in King Croaker, but that's also adding to the fact that he's being used in King Croaker along with a character that was, prominent in this season, which would be Cassidy. The problem is that if you don't have Cassidy built, which why would you? There's no reason for her to be built before this. Then you basically might not get like a higher score. Like even the people who made the Yap, the Yapala chart for who is the strongest or like what team is the strongest for the King Croaker thing, literally put question marks around it, like Sylvan and Cassidy. Yeah, because in all honesty, if you have to have Cassidy leveled up with Sylvan in order for it to be worth anything, just pick a different team. If you want to get the highest score, go ahead and I guess and waste your time trying to build a new character and also trying to invest in a character that had no real impact or importance beforehand. But I don't recommend it. I myself did not do, like, when I tried that, it didn't work for me almost at all, probably because of this. I don't have Cassidy more than 9 exclusive equipment, so I think what it is that what gives her the edge with Sylvan is probably if she's 15 plus, because empowers your allies next 9 normal attacks with the effect of title strength. But like, I am not getting Cassie to 15 plus for just a little extra freaking power. This is the same thing as when, what's it called? Atlanta had some usage before. Now she's utterly worthless, and I regret getting her to P1 and having her at 10 plus. I really think that I could have used the gold shards for anything else. In the end, if Valen didn't exist, I would say she's gone back to being pretty not useful anymore, but because Valen exists, he's the most useless character in the game currently. Even if these two are below him, Pang and Talalia has not had almost any use. This is an easy skip for the majority of people in case anyone has not seen it. Mind you, she could become more useful later or be useful in another boss later. But in the end, she's still a little better than like Valen because I've seen her in like the trials, the tower trials. Sometimes her attacks are pretty good for that. And then for Pang, usually that's what's it called? You'll see him sometimes like good armor duel. So he's not bad. It's just not the best, not worth freaking investing in my personal opinion, which, some people might think my opinion doesn't matter because I'm not going into like, well, this character has the highest trait stats available for everything because he got. I'm not gonna go into that. I don't think that there's a point to it. I'm just going off the fact that I play and I have, some, I get high-ish ranks and stuff and whatnot. Mind you, before tomorrow, because the game does not incentivize keeping a rank for a long time, someone is going to bypass the score easily because it's not that high off from the next person. But yeah, whatever. Alright, so basic concept is that I have to talk about the newer characters for the most part. The newer characters are, pretty much, I can put them in a little thing here. We got them. I guess we could talk about Corden still. Then I'll get, we got S.O.S, Aurora, yeah. Alright, so for the most part, these characters are the main focus of things right now. Corden is, if in terms of if you don't know what like to build right now, Corden is a very important character. Like, he's shown up in so many things. He's basically going to replace Kruger for the most part in most things, but he's also working alongside Kruger, so right now he hasn't been entirely bypassed, but eventually he probably will. And then when it comes down to, like, Aurora has been used in a variety of different game modes, but because she was basically given to everyone for free, I assure you in later seasons, not like maybe the next season, maybe the next season after that, she's going to fall off very hard because and she's also not, like, for where we currently are at in the phase, I have not seen a lot of like any real big necessary use for her. Sometimes she shows up and sometimes she's useful, but it's just kind of like every once in a while. It's the equivalent of what's it called, Kulu, or it's like Kulu, or when like a Thalia is sometimes used in like AFK stages, kind of levels of, or like I guess you could compare it to this guy. Like sometimes he's useful, sometimes he's brought in to do stuff, and in that situation, he's good for when it's necessary. But for the most part of that, he does not use that often. So it's kind of like that. He's sort of like Foresto, and Foresto used to be really powerful, used to be really important, but he's like fallen off hard because the game wants to, focus on the newest Hypogean characters, so you spend money on it. Yeah, my opinion, I don't think anyone should bring Aurora past the S+ rank unless like you really want to for some reason. I brought her to 15+ because Hypogeans getting to 15+ is almost a requirement for the most part, besides like a few of them. When it comes down to, I guess we could talk about Alma, and also Alma was kind of basically in this season. Again, as I've said in the past, Alma is necessary for AFK stages. Like, you can't progress in AFK stages easily without Alma. But is she necessary anywhere else? I have not seen her necessary in other places. Some people use her in PvP, but I don't think she's necessary for that. I push AFK stages, that's why I have her at 25+. But besides that, I don't want to move her anywhere else. This is as far as she goes, in my opinion. S.O.S was something that a lot of people were like iffy about. They didn't know if they should put a lot of investment into her because people were saying that she's going to be she's only going to really be useful in like early stages. Let me go ahead and just say that as far as I've seen, S.O.S is like in a lot of game modes. She's in Dream Realm. She's in freaking the boss fight, the Primal Lord boss fight. She's in PvP. She's in AFK stages. So I think that she's honestly a safe bet to build, not to mention she's also a Wildborn support. Wildborn? No, I'm sorry, fucking Wilder support. Either way, overall, that's a really good combo. The only time that's not been a good combo, and even then it was good during the season he came in, was Larson, and, I'm sure if you built him really high, he probably could still be useful, but, most people there's no reason to build him that high. And then for Sylvan, like I said, he's new. There's almost nothing we know about him. I got him to the 10+ thing that the game said that he needed to be at, and I tried the, pseudo better damage ability thing, the comp for Ting Croaker. There was not a single time where it went past the thing. Mind you, again, like I said, it could be because I don't have Cassidy built, but I don't care. I personally think, until we get more information, wait and see. But currently, from what I've seen, I don't think, even if he does become something like that, it's not worth it to build him and Cassidy to get slightly better results in Dream Realm. If you want to do that, or you already have Cassidy built to a certain degree, I guess go ahead, but I don't think he's worth it right now, personally. Which I'm sure is going to come back to bite me in the ass, but I'm going to just keep him kind of where he's at. I don't want to waste gold shards on him. I'll get Cassidy to 10+, since she now has some use. But after that, I'm hoping I don't have to level them up any further, because it's just not worth it, in my opinion. And I also, I guess, I should discuss the fact of my S.O.S video, since I didn't really go into full detail in the last video about it. Okay, so when it comes down to that, let me get I like the night. Let's get the night going. There's not much to really say about it. I talked to a bunch of the people that are guild leaders, that are really prominent, powerful people that have paid a lot of money in this game, that have also messaged the fact that they don't like the fact that being stuck, everything's just reverted back to the point where we're just in the same district with nothing changing. I've talked to them about it, and there's not much we can do. Like, we've literally messaged who we can. We've tried to put out what we could. I put out the video that I did. I messaged a few creators. The creators literally ignored me completely, and I don't care if I, dead name them. It was Puzzle and Dreamer. I didn't have a lot of faith that Dreamer would do anything to begin with, because he's not, like, in the inner sanctum of the game yet, but he also, speaks in a way that doesn't aggravate the people in charge, probably to get eventually something like a link for them, and I get it, I understand. And Puzzle doesn't care. Like, let's be real with ourselves. Unless, like, the community makes enough of a big stink about it, they don't care. The people that are in this situation, like, they don't... People like the creators, they don't care about that. It's only if, like, enough of the target audience, which is usually like newer players or investors or whatever like that, they complain about something that, or something that's just completely a game-breaking bug, that they'll do something about it. I appreciate the reception on the video. I didn't actually think it would get as far as it did, honestly, but as far as I can tell, it's not going to do anything. When it comes down to them talking about, I'm trying to think of it, them, whenever you're trying to reach out to them, like the support channels, as I've told the people that are like the highest ranked people in this district, pretty much, most likely they're bots. These all sound like they're just bots telling you the most bare minimum information. They have almost, like, when you ask them questions about other things, all they do is say, like, we don't have the information about that, and they're never going to go give you the information either. It doesn't matter if you spend money or not. You could say that you spent this much money, they don't care. I don't think it matters. If the people who pay, like, to win so hard can't get them to do anything about it, then I assure you that they're not going to do anything about it. And honestly, it just kind of does not bode well for the future of things. Like, I honestly couldn't tell you if we are going to ever actually get an allied server in the future, or they're just going to let us die out. At this point, it's all very possible. Or if we do get an allied server, maybe we'll get one with, like, another dying server and basically have the same situation, but slightly more, active people, I guess. People in that video, like in the comments, were saying stuff like, they're stuck in a server, allied server / district with Wales teams, and I'm sorry to inform you of this, but, like, they're never going to change that. Like, they favor the whales in terms of, in the server, but they don't listen to the whales. So it's like, if you really think if they don't listen to the whales, they're going to listen to people that are complaining that they have a bunch of whales in their server? No. The only way they're going to do that is if, I guess, it's a safe enough topic for a content creator to talk about it, then sure, yeah, they'll talk about it. But other than that, no. They don't give a damn. But, yeah, as far as I can tell, I don't think there's anything else to really discuss in this video. I was pretty much just, I said I would make a video about how when Sylvan came out, and what, if he was any good or not, and that's what I did. I will give you guys the same list I gave to my guild of, from what I can tell. I have, like, a few little, like, lists, like, little chart things I made to kind of emphasize for the general player base who you should be building, aka anyone free to play and whatnot, because this is what I see in AFK. This is what I see in Dream Realm. And Dream Realm is the most prominent, important thing for most players to care about. Everything else is either pay to win too much or is just not worth the time most of the time. So I'll show you my little infographics. Let's see. We'll start with this one. Doesn't matter. Give it a second. It takes its sweet ass time to load. You'll need an app to open MS. No? What do you mean I need an app to open it? MS Paint? It's not an MS Paint thing. I just want to open the... Oh my god. I hate this. I hate this so much. Alright, here we go. Let me shrink this a bit so it's in the video, in the thing. Alright, so this to me for Graveborn, general player top 5 Graveborn for, like, in terms of Dream Realm. These are the characters that, in my opinion, you should be building in general for Dream Realm, because these are the ones that are, like, the most prominent ones. Shamira is, like, brain dead. Daemon is, like, so important for most any kind of fight like these, like, even the primal bosses and whatnot, that, yeah. Thorin is really good for, what's it called, King Croaker a lot of the times. So that's why he's here, and I honestly didn't see a lot of other options for who should be here instead of him. Ludovic, like in the late game, he's really useful. He's not been as useful in the last season, but like I still think he'll still have a good amount of use. And Shadewing is becoming pretty much a necessity for Dream Realm. I know in like my video going into the characters before, he wasn't that useful, but you know how they are. With a new character that didn't seem useful before, now suddenly they're useful. That's the problem with this stupid bullshit, but you know, we're moving on. Alright, now we move on to the Light Bearers. The Light Bearers, Hugin. Hugin is so damn important for this damn game mode. I don't know why they have such a huge fixation on him, but like, yeah. Sonya in the later stages of Dream Realm is really used often, so yeah, that's pretty obvious. Zany has also been used quite frequently, so I would say upgrading her as well. Rowan oftentimes shows up in various comps, so that's what I'd go with. He's really useful to build, and you can build him using the shards, the golden shards in the shop, so that's a good thing. Faye is kind of I see her sometimes in stuff like Nocturne Judicator, but like, you know, see her maybe like in a few other ones. Sometimes she shows up too now, which is I'm surprised she had such a resurrection. And I say Sylvan pending because I made this before the Sylvan came out. Maybe if you want to build Sylvan, he might become more prominent, but I wouldn't bank on it personally right now. Later, I'm sure I could be completely dead wrong, but whatever. Moving on to the Maulers. Maulers, Gallahan. If you don't build Gallahan, you're going to have a hard time. I'll just say that right now. Makola is a really good support that's going to show up quite frequently in the Dream Realms. So, yeah, that's a character that you should have built as much as possible. I'm eventually going to get her to P4 whenever I have an option. Kruger is also one that's still currently being used in Dream Realm stuff, so he's eventually going to be taken over by Corden over here, but like for now he's still useful, and I think like out of other options he's necessary for now. Nazarick is a really good mid Dream Realm character that needs to be built, and also he's being used a lot, right? Like he's one of the top teams in Guild Supremacy for the boss. That'll eventually change probably, but he's also not like some people say the Aurora team is better than his. For me, it seems like Nazarick's better, but I also have Nazarick now at P4 from just passively building him through shards I got from Lucky Keys, so yeah, there's that. And then Corden is now becoming you'll see him almost everywhere, so I think building him is a really important thing to do. It's pretty self-explanatory. Let's see. Then we got the Wilders. The Wilders was kind of iffy because pretty much right over here. If I can't zoom in. Right over here. This is the one that's kind of iffy about it. Floribel before did not have a lot of use, and it's just kind of weird that she's now suddenly having more. You'll see her more often in some things like the primal boss and whatnot. I think she'll still have some general use, and when I looked at every other character for Dream Realm, I didn't see a lot of choices that seemed like they would happen often. I would say Thalwador is a good substitute for her if you don't want to build her. I say substitute. He doesn't replace her, but I'm saying in terms of the top 5 Dream Realm characters, essentially. But yeah, Celise is becoming a very necessary character, so I would say overall building her is definitely a good thing. She might fall off in the later seasons, but she's also really good in AFK stages for people who want to do that, which I don't recommend for anyone that's not pay to win at this point. She's also been used in PvP. She's also used in the Primal Lord, so she's honestly becoming a necessary character. And then Ravion should be pretty self-explanatory at this point. He's pretty much able to do some pretty heavy damage, stay alive in most situations, and he's used a lot in the later stages too. Farmore literally can shred defense, so I mean yeah, obviously. And then Valara, I don't think there's almost any game mode you will not see Valara in other than maybe PvP. And even then, people still try to use her. So yeah, Valara is a very important character for the most part. And then we move on to the Hypo Celestials. This one's going to be a bit more controversial because like a lot of them have become more useful. Like you could say Seda could replace like Mahira or something like that. But for now, I think because of how their impact, Elise, Balrin, they've become like very important. You don't currently see them in like the current things because they're more like late game, but you'll see them later in the late game. The twins, like if you're not currently building twins or have twins built along with Reiner over here, if you don't have these two built to at least a certain degree, you are going to have a bad time. And in all honesty, there's nothing anyone can do to help you if you do not have these characters built. The support hypos are the most important hypos, in my opinion, so keep them in mind. Because like Reiner is really good early game, and then twins are good for literally everything. Everywhere you go. Mahira is here instead of some other choices because Mahira is like her like ability to basically like crowd control whatever is like everywhere. In Dream Realm you'll see her a lot. You'll see her a lot in like AFK stages. You'll see her a lot in PvP. You'll see her. She's everywhere. Like if you don't have Mahira at least like a one copy Mahira, it's gonna be hard. So this is why that she's in this list pretty much. These are characters that are pretty much like becoming more and more necessary. I think in terms of AFK stages, Balrin is kind of falling off a bit, so he might also start eventually falling off in like, what's it called, in Dream Realm. But yeah, he's a pretty important character for the most part right now, so that's why I'm saying it to build it for the moment. And then there's one more, which is the dimensional heroes. And as you can see, there's only one, because quite frankly with you, do not waste your resources on the event characters more than just getting a couple of copies for them so that you have them in your inventory. They are so worthless. Like, even, like, what's it called? Meryl, or whatever her name is, from, like, the last one from Delicious Dungeon, is good in PvP. But the amount you have to invest into her in order to make her worth a damn is not really worth it in the long run. Lucy shows up in, like, AFK stages every once in a while. But again, I don't recommend any AFK stages these days because they're paid to win. Natsu I have not seen Natsu do almost anything for a long time. Like, he sometimes is a substitute team for some things. He's utterly worthless. What's his face? The other guy from Delicious Dungeon. He was used, I think like there was one time in AFK stages I used him. Besides that, no. He's kind of fallen off. Mind you, maybe he'll become more necessary later because that's how this game works. Like, a character that seems like they're useless comes necessary later. But right now, the only one that really matters in Dimensional is Pandora. And Pandora is one you can build passively through having her in the wish list for the brown letters. Yes, I think you should honestly try and max out Pandora if possible, because she's used a lot still. She's a really good character for PvP, she's a really good character for Dream Realm, she's really good. She's used often in like AFK stages. Pandora is a necessity, in my opinion. So yes, I would say that's something you should build. Besides that, and what I already said, thanks for the interest in the video. I was surprised that I got anything on it, honestly, because, quite frankly, the video sounds like I don't give a damn in it, because that's how my voice always sounds. So it's surprising that, people actually care a little bit. I think a lot of people are just more frustrated that they have whales in their server, and I'm like, look, I get it. Trust me, I made suggestions myself that, like, said, whales should be, like, curved, or, like, they should just fight each other instead of fighting other people, but the game will not allow a whale to basically just be, like, outs for free-to-play players. If it's between someone that's paying them and someone that's not paying them, they're not going to listen to the people that are not paying them. Unless there's, like, a massive, like, outrage for it, and it's not going to happen because it's a gacha game. People know it's a gacha game from the get-go. Gacha games are about people spending money to get ahead. But anyway, for the most part, that's about it. There's not much more to say for this one. So, in my opinion, you should probably wait for Sylvan to build him. I don't really think he's going to be that important in the long run, but other people disagree. And yeah, have a time. Go away now.